Hey, what's up guys? I'm here today trying to show you guys my poor man's canister filter for a fish tank or like a small backyard pond you might have, right? So this is my setup here out of my shed, and I have a bunch of fry in here. I don't know if you can see them there, yeah. I have a crayfish in here, that's Lester. And I have a few bullfrog tadpoles here. And this is just a small tank with just an aerator in it. And I have a little tip here also for anyone that has small fry like this. It's very important for them to get lots of oxygen, being small as they are. And a way to do that is this nut here, just so you know, it's just to weigh it down, keep it submerged. I just took a little screw, which might not be the best because it will eventually, you know, like rust out, and you don't really want that in the water. But basically, if you just clog the tube with something similar to this at the end, the bubbles they go about half the size they normally would be, which it's very helpful when you have small fish with small gills and they need a lot of oxygen, because this water, it doesn't have a filter on it right now, but I just do water changes very often on that, so that's okay for the fish. This is my large goldfish tank. If I can get some light in here, yeah, that's a little too bright. But this is my large goldfish tank. Here, let's get the lid. And there's a few wild caught goldfish in there. There's the tail of one. Hard to spot right now. And this is what my canister filter is on. So if we look at it, it's a 5-gallon bucket. Just making a mess everywhere here. And it still has lots of water in it, so we're draining that. And yeah, it's just a 5-gallon bucket attached to a, I don't know, 100 and something gallon an hour pump. Submersible pump. And yeah, you can see the pump in there behind that tape. This tape is just to remind me what the water level should stay between. So in between there it's fine, and it's about halfway, so I'm gonna have to do a half water change soon on that. Anyway, so this is my poor man's filter, as I call it, and like I said, it's just this 5/8 inch tubing, I believe it is. I got at Home Depot, a whole 25-foot thing of it, really cheap. And that pump I got at Big Al's for $25, and it's somewhere just above 100 gallons an hour, which, I mean, it's a little much, to be honest, for this, because it circulates the water really good. It goes into this polyester filter material, mechanical filter media. You can get this almost any aquarium store, and you can see mine really needs to be changed out soon. See all that just crap? This is the first line of defense in the filter. Put that there. And then here's some more of it. I have this, and it's sold as a like, you put it as a false bottom in your pots for plants and stuff. And whenever you're buying stuff like this for a filter, you really got to rinse it out well, make sure there's no chemicals or anything like that in that. And then under here we have a bunch of scrub pads from like a Walmart or Dollarama. You can get these really cheap, and they're really good for mechanical filtration. So I got a whole bunch, and there's a couple normal sponges mixed in, but they don't work as well because they really absorb water, and they actually take a lot of water out of your tank in that sense. But they still do a good job mechanical filtration. Bunch more. And then we get down to the next layer, and we have these pot scrubbies. And what these are really good for is housing bacteria. Now you put these closer to the bottom, they stay wet longer, and they house the bacteria that turns ammonia into nitrite, and then furthermore into nitrate, which plants can use, and it's a lot less damaging to your fish, a lot less toxic. So I just have a mixture of sponges and that kind of thing here at the bottom. Right? Okay. A bunch of that sitting at the bottom. Right? And then I have some jute twine here, which I forget why I put that in there. I believe it's just for a little bit more biologic. Some more. I just have this thing jam-packed. And then we get to the bottom, and I have some charcoal pads that you can also get at a fish store. And you can also just put loose charcoal in some kind of a bag or something down here. And or lava rock. Lava rock's very porous, and it is really good for that kind of filtration. And then at the bottom, any heavy silt that makes it through all of that sits down there at the bottom. You can see all that dirt. I gotta empty this out. And that's sand and whatever. And I also, you'll see I have it up on 1/4-inch hardware mesh suspended on 2 screws here. And that is just to let all that stuff sit at the bottom. And also to keep from clogging this out pipe, which goes down into the tank. It's just siliconed in here. And you can see that gets pretty dirty. So I think I'm going to take some of this white filter stuff when I buy some new ones, and put it in the end, because you can see my clear tubing has some of this, this brown buildup on it. And I did some research on the internet, and it turns out that's decaying organic matter, as well as, I mean, basically anything that the filter didn't, filter out, but it's mostly decaying organic matter, but it also houses all that bacteria to turn the nitrogen, to turn the ammonia into nitrate and nitrate. So I'm gonna clean all that out and then maybe put some filter floss or something right in the intake here. And this just comes out of the pump, like I said, I spilt this fish food. Anyway, it comes out of the pump in here, goes up, around, and I have these washers weighing it down, because if this wasn't here, I tried to silicone it in, but it's not strong enough. So this is just a counterweight to kind of hold it in there a little bit better. And I haven't seen any change in water quality with these in there. I don't mind it much. And then the last step, so you saw I had it hanging, and this tube goes down into this box here. And grass, and well, any plant for that matter, including aquatic plants, uses that nitrate to grow as a fertilizer, kind of, right? People actually put it on their lawns to help it grow faster. So I have it putting in here in the hopes that I would be able to do a lot less water changes, because this takes out a lot of nitrate. And I have pieces of the pothos plant, and I just stuck them in here, and you can see their roots have embedded into this this white material. You see that long root there, because this corner stays very wet for a long time. And I had some bamboo in here previously. It all works really well. You can actually see the roots of the grass have grown right down. And what I've done is I put this tray here, and I poked a bunch of holes in the bottom with like needles and a knife. So all the water goes in here, and it goes through at the grass roots and then drips back down in here, which causes aeration. And that's very beneficial for the fish too. They need that to survive as well. So it's almost a closed system. I still have to do water changes to take out other trace elements I can't take out in this way. And the remainder of some ammonia and nitrates every once in a while, but this takes care of it really and delays a lot of the water changes I would have to do normally. And it's really helpful for me. So I just have an LED light bulb here, I mean, you could get into all the fancy floodlights and all that, but for just this little setup, this is all I need. And I have this on a timer, you know, an outlet timer. So it only comes on during the day when I need it, like it would in the wild. And it seems to be doing the trick so far. And, you know, I have the flow just enough that it doesn't flood the grass out, because grass, you know, is terrestrial, obviously. But it's, you know, the water goes through it and it takes out what it needs, and it's a good, almost mini ecosystem kind of thing. And every once in a while, I'll splash some new water in here to try and get rid of some of the nitrates and do water changes. And yeah, this over here, this is just where I'm going to put grasshoppers and crickets and stuff for feeders and whatnot. And so I kind of have a whole setup in here. Anyway, before I get too off topic, this is my poor man's canister filter for small ponds and mid-sized aquariums, and it really does the trick. I just have to figure out how to get rid of this brown stuff. I'm going to take a brush and feed it through, and maybe stick some more mechanical filtration right in the end there. I've also been debating moving this to the center in the bottom, but I do prefer this method because it almost acts as a swirl filter, if you know what that is. So it all the silt sinks to the bottom and doesn't get a chance to go out because it's too heavy to go up in the tube. But yeah, that's my short little video for today of how to keep your ammonia levels in check, and my poor man's canister filter. Thanks for watching.